to the extent of sexual harassment at their place of work. We're going to look into why this is happening and what can be done to control it. If our doctors are engaged in alcohol and drug abuse, that's a big concern for all of us as Ghanaians. And then, of course, the big issue, the Supreme Court ruling. Even though we don't know the reasoning yet, we will find out today. But we will know if the Speaker will comply. Justice William Atuguba said that the Speaker has no option but has to comply. I guess this morning, and the rest we hope would join us before we wrap up things on the media review. Lawyer Kwame Jantua is a private legal practitioner and is senior member of the Convention People's Party. Lawyer, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning? It's another day.
Another day. I'm breathing.
For God and country.
I've woken up knowing that I have strength in my body and I'm grateful to God.
We thank God for life. We thank God for life. I want us to start from, I'll start with the news coming from the Ghana Medical Association on the rising alcohol and drug usage among health workers. Some have cited the fact that conditions of service and other stress going on in there could be the reasons why doctors are being unprofessional in their job. I mean, what for you, what does this mean for our health sector if our doctors who are advising us to stop that are engaged in that?
Good morning. Say that again. Some have cited what?
Their conditions of service and the stress they go through at work. Doctor to patient ratio 1 to 1,000, working long hours, and a host of other reasons.
Your response. Listen. The medical profession is a profession that is well respected in this country. Doctors are very respected in this country. And you're telling me that because of conditions of service, you have addicted yourself to alcohol and drug abuse? Is that what you're telling me?
That's what some have said.
And you think that's a cogent reason? They are human beings like us, aren't they, apart from their profession? Huh?
Yeah.
So isn't it lifestyle? When you drink and you take drugs, is it not a lifestyle? If things like that are going to push you into making your job difficult to practice, do you not check yourself and say, other people's lives are in my hands? It's like your driver. When you sit in a car and you have a driver, your life is in the hands of your driver, isn't it?
Yeah.
If your driver falls asleep whilst he's driving for 2 seconds, what will happen? Will there not be an accident?
Yeah.
So they should give a better reason. And I don't buy that reason. Yes, there could be some challenging circumstances, but there are lines of addressing such things. Yes, and I do agree. Conditions of doctors can be very strenuous in this country, especially when they are sent to other parts of the country where living life is very difficult. But you see, we talk about this and we leave the things that can make the country acceptable and easy for everybody to live. Our economy. And the fact that we have failed to develop the different areas of this country, different regions of this country, the way we develop the major towns and cities. We failed. And we failed, so far as I can see, we failed because we bring out manifestos that are just for 4 years. We bring out plans that are just for 4 years. Because if another political party comes in 2025, will they take the manifesto of the previous party and move with it? No. even some of the projects that have been started by the party in power, when they leave, do we continue? So let's point to our politicians. Me, I've always said, and I'm on the committee that is looking at the human capital development strategy for Ghana. When you look at some of the areas that we're looking at, you ask yourself, Ghana, what went wrong? Yesterday we looked at early childhood, streetism, from 1 to 5 years, some of the things the children go through. And surprisingly, there are companies and NGOs and CSOs who are ready to work. They were all around the table. I sat and I asked myself, we have all these people here. So what's happening? And if we do not get this country back to where it is, and I'll continuously say, and I'll continuously say it, there needs to be a plan for this country. There needs to be a plan where everybody acquiesces to that plan and makes sure that, if for nothing at all, those major areas, those major sectors that have national implication, there should be a plan for it. And health is one of it. If you go to other jurisdictions, the jurisdictions I'm very familiar with is the UK. Yes, doctors go through quite a lot of challenges. However, in the UK, doctors don't manage hospitals. Doctors are there to do their work as doctors, as medical staff. Nurses are there to do their work as medical staff. In this country, don't doctors manage hospitals? In the UK, it's management teams and administrators that manage the hospital. So it frees the doctor to do his work. Does it happen here? It doesn't. But the challenges of the medical profession need to be looked at. Housing, accommodation is one. Even their pay is two. Equipment. Equipment is key. Equipment is key. Infrastructure is key. And so if doctors, some of them have, and the one that even kicked my bucket was the sexual abuse bit. So, as a doctor,
a patient visits you.
Or a patient visits you, let's say one of either Lebanon or Biadela goes to see the doctor, and they say, oh, I feel uncomfortable around my breast area. And the doctor says, okay, let me examine you. And he examines you in a particular way that is suggestive. Fine line. Fine line. And the patient is sitting there and thinking to herself, why is he examining me this way? It's a bit, What does she do? Does she stop him? Doesn't she stop him? Does she protest? Doesn't she protest? And sometimes, what is the reaction of the doctor? Most times you go to hospital and you ask the doctor, so doctor, what is wrong with me? Run me through. They think you are questioning their intelligence, but it's not so.
You need to even explain to them why you're giving them this drug.
When I go abroad and I go to the dentist, before the dentist puts this, I'm just using the dentist. I don't want to even use others. The dentist, before he puts what do you call it in my mouth to inject me to make my face immune to the pain, he would tell me, I'm going to inject you with this, and this is the dosage I'm giving, so that between this time and this time, we can do what we have to do so that you don't feel the pain. And they will inject you. Here, do they? Do you know what they're putting in your mouth? You don't. So sometimes the challenge is on both sides. As a medical, look, as a lawyer, you're my client. My responsibility is to tell you how I'm going to handle your case based on the evidence you've given me. If there's any documentation that is legal, I need to be able to sit with you and go through the document with you with a fine-tooth comb and make you understand certain parts of the document that are legal that you don't understand. It's my duty, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's wrap up on it. Okay.
So, the challenges of doctors, maybe what we should do is listen to those challenges. Look at the ones that are lifestyle. Look at the ones that are really impacted by some of the exigencies of the profession and see how best we can also help them, because they are human beings like you and I. Their profession is, their profession is challenging. How many doctors to a person in Ghana? Is it 5,000?
1 to 1,000.
1 to 1,000. That's a lot. Is that in the urban areas or is that in the rural areas?
That breakdown I don't have, but I know it's kind of.
And then what do you find? A lot of doctors are what?
Are still
are leaving the shores of Ghana. These are things that politics should be able to deal with. They should be able to do. If I had my own way, we would give doctors the best. Because, Kwabena, you're sitting here right now. If something happens to you, and I'm not saying it will, but if something happens to you, something happens to me now, will you not rush me to a hospital?
The doctor, you have to see.
Wouldn't the doctor I have to see? So, the conditions of service should be made good. Because it's health. Anything can happen to your body at any time.
And there are the few people who don't work with on party lines. The doctor will work on you whether you are...
Yes, whether you're NDC, MPP, CPP, who work on you. He won't ask you, oh boy, what party are you from?
So you need to put their interests paramount in the country. And that's why this news is very concerning.
Very concerning.
Yes, if our doctors are engaged in this kind of behavior.
But I expect the Minister of Health to take this up.
Yes.
To take this up and not brush it aside. Take it up. Listen to them. Something like this. Let the people see you're doing something about it. And this is what I don't understand about our politics. Let the people see what you're doing about it. So that it makes it easier. It makes it easier.
I agree. Because this truly falls directly under the Ministry of Health. And these are the people you work with. So, they should take it up from there and help them. If the kind of help they need, whatever their reasons are for doing this, I think that's they should have that help. They should get that help from whichever quarters that has to help him. Let's talk some politics now. We want to touch on the EC and the explanation that was given by the EC chair to why they disqualified GFP's candidate who was to replace Ekwadonko. He initially was Ekwadonko's running mate. So many are questioning what particulars did he fill the running mate forms with that qualified him, or are the criteria different, and why was he disqualified really? This is the explanation from the EC chair, Madam Jane Mensah.
Constitution and Regulation 13.4 of CI 127, the Commission wrote to the Ghana Freedom Party and provided them a period of 10 days within which to file a new candidate. Article 50 of the 4 of the 1992 Constitution reads, where at the close of nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nomination. In that respect, the Commission wrote to the Ghana Freedom Party and asked them to present a new candidate within 10 days. In fulfillment of that request, the Ghana Freedom Party presented Mr. Apiakubi, who was before then the vice presidential candidate to Madam Ekwadonko. The party presented him as the presidential candidate of the Ghana Freedom Party. He and the party went on to submit their nomination forms on the 5th of November, and our technical teams went to work immediately reviewing the nomination forms. At the end of the process, they detected a number of errors and some illegalities with the form. The candidate's attention was drawn to these errors, and the party was provided an opportunity to correct them. They did that. In the view of the Commission, it was not in our bosom to provide the political party the opportunity to correct some of the illegalities that we found on the form. In that respect, the party did not draw their attention to it because the Commission does not feel that it is in its bosom to allow any political party to correct illegalities with the form. The Commission, therefore, as at yesterday, wrote to the party and to the candidate disqualifying him from contesting the 2024 presidential election.
All right, so that's Madam Jane Mensah they're explaining why they disqualified, Roman Father, the flag bearer for the GFP, illegalities and errors on his forms. That's why, but she doesn't explain the things that constitute what were illegal on the forms and the errors, really. But let's also welcome Malik Adama, former parliamentary candidate for Okaikwe North constituency, aspirant for Okaikwe North. Malik, good morning, on the ticket of the NDC.
Good morning, Dennis.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
We thank God.
I'm blessed.
We thank God.
All right. So let's get into it. And I'll give you, a chance on this one first. With this disqualification, it means that some of your fears have been allayed. Whether there were going to be changes on the positioning on the ballot papers, the EC has confirmed that it's going to remain the same and unchanged. But the illegalities and errors on the forms, what do you make of this new update?
Dennis, thank you very much. Let me first say good morning to the former president, and good morning to the good professor. That's the first time Ghana will be having female vice president. And good morning to yourself and council too, and then our viewers. I absolutely disagree with what the chairperson said. Just because, those who endorse the form for Ekweadonko will be the same people who endorse this form. Even that endorsement will still exist. That endorsement, because the same people. I think the only place that will be changed are some of the personal details of the candidates. The name, the birth, where he was born, those details. But everything about the endorsement will still be the same.
His tax records.
Yes, and yes, I agree with you. That's what I said. Personal details about him will be what will be changed. But for the endorsement of the constituencies in the country, it's going to be the same. And then other things are going to be the same because it's the same form. So I think I disagree with her anyway. And she should have told everyone where the error went or where exactly he made those errors so that we can all be...
And the illegalities. And
the illegalities too. So that we will all understand where the errors are made. And then we can just leave it like that. But we NDC were not afraid of whether he was disqualified, whether he will be part of the elections or not. No. Because, and we knew the number will not change. We knew there are machinations that the number should change. There are key members specifically to me. Student platforms say whatever they will do under the sun for our aid to be changed, they will do. And we know it will not work because we will stand by it, we will fight it. It was balloted, which is legally done. So if the number should change or if there should be another numbers, it should be another ballot from 1 to the 13. Now will be 12, so that everyone's number may shift. But to say because one is out, so you are going to adjust the number upwards, no, we don't do that. Legally, it is not done anywhere. So we know upon the machinations and then what they will be doing, MPP particularly be pushing because they are uncomfortable with the 8. We know still it will not work, but we know this thing will arise. We know they will disqualify him.
You knew?
Yes, I know they will disqualify him. I know they will disqualify him. We know. I know they will disqualify him. And truly, he was disqualified.
What was the reason?
What was the reason? When you listen to the masses or when you listen outside, though you read and sometimes you listen rumor. Perception index. What is the word? Is it not perception? That's what we use to do most of analysis. So when you listen to all perceptions and then commentaries, you will notice that either they will not file Or even if they should file, the chairperson or the EC as a body will disqualify them. So we know they will be disqualified.
Okay.
But whether the number will be changed or not, we know the number. I, for instance, knew the number will never change. How is it going to change? It's not possible to change. How? No, it's not possible. So we spoke about it here.
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks back. Yeah. And I'm comfortable
with the 8.
always that the number will never change, and there is no way you can adjust because someone is not there, so you are adjusting. It is something that you balloted.
Okay.
You were not given. You understand? You earn it. So you were not given on a silver platter. You earn it. So the fact that you've earned it, at least when it's going to change, it should go through the process again, and then you have it. So, well, he has been disqualified. The number has reduced to 12, but still the number 3 will still be there as vacuum, as he said. And, well, I don't know whether they will cancel it at the polling station with maybe a black ink to cancel it, or they will just leave it like that. And people, we will have 1 or 2 people who will just vote there too.
All those will be counted as rejected ballots. They say they will leave it like that.
I think they should cancel it.
But maybe the dedication has to go, that you don't need to vote for that candidate.
They should just cancel it so that that portion will not be there. They can use ink at the polling station there and just underline it when you are going for the paper. They will just cross there with the ink. It can be red, black, just.
But it will still be a Keronko's image there.
No, you can just cancel it, put a line there and say we ain't come. This one is not part of it.
Okay. Anyway, so let me also place on record that the MPP's rep who we were expecting, we understand that due to an emergency will not be able to join us, but that's just on record to know that we always have a balanced table. Apani, let me come to you. What question does this raise for you? Question. I mean, yes, does it raise any question for you with this disqualification? I mean, the reasons that the EC has given, illegalities and errors on the form, does this raise any question for you at all?
We don't know the machinations within the Freedom Party itself with regards to the gentleman who stood. We don't know who supported, who didn't support within the party. We don't know those who supported or signed Ekuadonko's form. We don't know whether they were prepared to do it for the running mate too. We don't know.
I mean, what we also do know is that the party was divided, whether to contest
exactly.
or not.
Exactly.
After the death.
After the death.
So we don't know. We don't know the real details, not unless they come and tell us. So for me, I will go by what the Electoral Commission is saying. Not until I get further and better particulars as to the state of the thinking of the party at the time, whether they supported or they didn't support, whether they were all together in letting the running mate stand for the Freedom Party. So I would not want to say anything that I don't have the facts for. I can only go by what the Electoral Commissioner has said. But anyway, what would be the reason for disqualification if there were any underhand business going on? What would be the reason? Ekuadonko on the ballot sheet, does it affect any of the parties on the list? Does it? If you just take even the 2 main ones, NDC, MPP, how does Ekuadonko affect them? That can change the vote significantly. I don't see it. I don't see it. I really don't see it. On the bit of the numbers, the Electoral Commission has already come and said it ain't changing. It's leaving it as it is. If it so happened that the Electoral Commission came and said, because of the passing of the Freedom Party's leader, the decision is that we move everybody up. That
would be news.
That would be news. And that is where we would now see if there are any machinations going on. Because remember, it won't affect the MPP. They are already number one. It will affect all the others. That is where. Number 2.
It will not affect number 2.
Yeah, it won't affect 1 and 2.
It won't affect 1 and 2. Okay. But 3 downwards.
Yes.
That is where you would say maybe there are some machinations going on. Maybe they are trying to do something. But she has said It's going to remain the same. The challenge now, as my brother rightly said, the challenge now is spoiled ballots. Anybody who votes for Ikuadonko is a spoiled ballot. That is where the challenge is. That is where we should, in fact, encourage the Electoral Commission to do something about Ikuadonko's picture on the ballot. You cannot leave that picture just like that. You cannot leave that picture there. So, as my colleague rightly said, on the day of voting, when they give you the ballot sheet, in front of you who they're giving the ballot sheet, you cancel it with a cross felt pen.
You mean the electoral agents?
Yes, the electoral agents. You cancel it. Before you hand it over to me, you let me see that you're cancelling with felt pen, not ordinary pen. Felt pen is broader. The tip is broader and wider.
But you know, there could be situations with this. Sometimes in cancelling it, you could go, some could stretch to other boxes.
Then you change it.
That is why.
And this could cause problems.
That is why in cancelling it, you use a ruler. Put the ruler there, cancel, clean. Clean. It even helps the person going to vote to know that that is out of bounds. And I hope in the coming days, they would tell us how they're going to make sure that, because the Electoral Commission should stop people from spoiling the ballot sheet. And death, nobody knows when anybody will die. It will happen to all of us. Unfortunately, it has happened to Ikuadonko. The responsibility is on the Electoral Commission to make sure that the ballots aren't spoiled. You just can't come and tell me that anybody who votes for Ikuadonko, it's a spoiled ballot. No. You should tell me what you're going to do to make sure that people don't use it as a spoiled ballot by just cancelling. Tell us.
Had it not been that they've printed some of the papers already, they could have designed that cancellation mark on the soft copy with the print, so that it prints it, automatically.
I would have even expected 25 days to...
Today is 24.
24 days to elections. The Electoral Commission has told us that 18 million people are going to vote. How many of the ballot sheets have they done so far?
They suspended it.
Sorry?
They suspended it because of this, and then now they're going to resume.
In the suspension, the time of the suspension, could they not send what they printed back to the printers to blank that out? Could they not do that?
Well, that was the period they were waiting to see if they would add the new flag bearer that were introduced to them.
Okay, we have 24 days. Is it possible to do? I would expect the Electoral Commission to tell us that, because we don't want spoiled ballots.
They should do it at the printing press.
We will take it back and find out from the printing press whether it can be done as soon as possible, so that we see that they're trying. And if it's not possible, then put other measures in place. But don't just come and tell me that if you vote for Ikuadonko on the ballot sheet, it's a spoiled ballot. No, I would not buy it. You've got to do as much as you can to change the perspective to make sure that that sheet doesn't become a spoiled ballot. Because what you then see, there could be plenty spoiled ballots. It's not everybody who has heard what she just told us. It's not everybody who will understand what she's just told us. Some will go and vote, especially our brothers and sisters in the rural areas. So act on it and blank it. Simple. I'm sure the printers can put a white sheet over, emboss a white sheet over it, or white paper over it, so that, and write there nil, so that, if you go and vote, it's nil. There's nobody there. But I think the Electoral Commission should go a step further. In fact, the Peace Council should push the Electoral Commission to do something like that, so that we don't have spoiled ballots. It would be a shame if, because of this, we're going to have massive spoiled ballots. It would be a shame.
But you've already alluded to the fact that Ikuadonko won't have, quite any significant number of votes.
Yes, but you don't know.
If she were alive.
But you won't know. That is what I feel. But you don't know. You don't know, especially for the rural folk. You don't know one spoiled ballot affects everybody. 2 spoiled ballots affects everybody. Half a spoiled ballot affects everybody. So if in the end there are masses of spoiled ballots, doesn't it affect the election? Doesn't it affect others who are also vying? If we can do something about it, let's do something about it. If we need to vote money to do it, let's vote money to do it.
I hope that the issue of time will not be used against, I mean, sending it back to the printing houses for this
even if Madam Ekweadonko should have gotten 0.00001, it's still a number. And that number can be prevented now. So, well, I thought it's late. Just because 24 days to an election, I thought it's late.
It's late to
send it back to the printing presses for those corrections to be done. The cancellation of that portion, number 3. But I think there can be other alternatives that can be done, that which will cancel that particular portion.
Like doing it at the polling station?
Yes, it can be done at the polling station.
But doing it manually could create issue.
Yes.
On the day when there's pressure on these EC officials and they are tired.
It's issue that they should agree on at IPAC meeting. If it is being agreed on, then it can be done. It's a matter of getting the pen, take time, and then take that line out, and then give
Use a ruler.
So you're serving 5,000 people. You're cancelling
every police station is not up to 5,000. It's 500.
I'm just.
It's
okay, 500.
Yes, it's about 500 plus or minus.
It can be done.
And it's running late. People are in the queue.
It doesn't.
But it's better than spoiling many
Yes.
papers. Isn't it better than that? How long will it take to cancel that line? Width of less
Not
than
even a
8
second.
inches. How long will
But
it
I'm not
take
looking
to
at the
cancel
time,
that line?
the length of time. I'm looking at the mistakes some of these officials, the
They
accusations
should be
that you
educated.
parties
No.
will come back and say that some EC officials intentionally in
Then
our
you change the
strongholds
paper.
cancelled into other boxes
so
to make
3 will
it
enter west, 3 will
invalid.
enter 2
So
or 4.
Kwabena, if that is the case, if they decide to cancel it the way we're suggesting, it's up to the political parties to educate their members. And
That
to
if you receive
educate,
the paper-
if you receive the paper, Ekweadonko is cancelled out. Try as much as possible. Don't even go down that route. Educate Ghanaians. Educate Ghanaians. The media. Educate Ghanaians. That's what you're there for.
Well,
If
that's
it's so-
true.
If it so happens that the Electoral Commission decides to cancel, it's up to the media too to say, look, and even show an example. This is what the Electoral Commission is going to do. Please, when you get there, in order not to have spoiled ballots, this is cancelled. So don't even go there to tick that box that is cancelled. Period. It's possible.
Well, I believe it's possible, but the games around
no,
this our stronghold, the stories, we don't want to hear the stories.
Kwabena, don't people go into the ballot box and use their phone to take photo before they come out?
Well, even though they are illegal.
It's
All
illegal.
The parties does it.
It's illegal, but I mean, these are some of the challenges that we have with our electoral system.
If I've been verified that I can vote, and I'm giving you the, what do you call it? Mr. Kwabena, this is the ballot sheet. Take ruler, cancel. I give it to you. Simple.
Okay, that's all.
You can ask me, why are you cancelling it? And I can tell you the reason.
And the cancellation should be done in presence of the voter.
Yes, in presence of the voter.
That's all.
Yes,
in presence
that's
of the
all.
voter, just cancel it. It's
That's
easy,
all.
simple. There you go.
So that nobody goes and cancel Baumia or Mahama or Frimpoma or anybody else.
Anyway, so that's the suggestion coming in from here. To leave it blank for people
And
to
the
be
cancellation
tempted to vote for him.
should be in the box.
That's
Not
the point I was
outside
trying
the
to make.
box.
The point of
even,
cancellation.
not even the line shouldn't cross the box
Exactly
into
the
another.
point I was trying to
Another-
make.
no,
And
that's it.
if it
That's how come we
happens
are
so,
talking about the
it means
ruler.
that particular ballot paper
Yes,
is valid, rendered invalid.
Yes.
That is the point I was
That
making.
is why I feel if they're not going to do that, then they should take it
Dennis,
quickly.
can't you
It can be
cancel
done under
that box?
emergency.
Can't you cancel that box even without ruler straight? Can't you cancel yourself?
Hey, you're
No,
dealing
just a
with
question.
people, oh.
No, it's question. Can't you cancel that?
The number of times you do
No,
it,
I mean, no,
you
it's
will
you
do it
can't-
once, twice,
Yes.
but
If you are
third,
tired, then-
fourth,
no.
fifth time.
If you are tired, somebody will change. You are not the only person. seated there.
One of the major challenges we have in this country is attention to detail.
Yes.
It's one of the major challenges we have. And attention to detail has also got to do with those sitting behind the giving out the EC officials. So if that is going to be the case, the EC should make it known to us and actually show us how it should be done.
Because
Bring
that's
it on
why
TV.
I would have preferred it done at the printing
Yes,
house. Because some people have even taken their ballot papers and they were not stamped for them. We are here. We know about all these stories.
I don't think the time is too late. If
people have taken their ballot sheets, went to vote.
The case is,
they were not stamped. They voted and they were not counted.
Whatever the case is, it can be done under emergency. The printing press can work 3-4 days.
Pay them extra. Let them do the right thing. So that we all save ourselves from.
We don't want tomorrow come and they spoil.
In our strongholds, they spoil our ballots
and
we
don't want that.
That's what I.
Then the next thing you see, they are taking Electoral Commission to court because of this. So they should do what needs to be done now.
It is done. You tear my paper for me, and then I don't have anything to do with it. You just stamp and I go. So I mean, that's about that with the Electoral Commission, and I believe.